This one's starting to ease up now. No, it's not. What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to get some penetrating oil on that one. I'm not even sure if that's actually moved or not. And looking at it, I would say it hasn't moved. What we can do, as I said before, is heat. Because that's in between two zones basically where we were heating before. Can put a washer in between these as well if you want. Right on there. So again, tightening that one up. I'm just trying to see if that's actually spinning or not. It looks like it is, but we'll see. We should be able to turn it in and out. I would say that's not turning. Let's give it a couple of goes. Just a little wire brush. I think I'm going to have to heat that one to get that one out. So I'll just clean up that one as well. And again, don't go mad when trying to put some heat in. To get my gloves on again because obviously that's going to be hot. We don't want any burny hands, do we? Not if we can help it. I say it's just taking your time, not going too hard into anything. That's an 11 and an 11. Always amazes me. I hang up the tools and half of them go walkies every single time you try and do a job. That's moving, I see that moving. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. What you can do as well is just spray a bit of lubricating oil on there and just turn it in a couple of turns and then out again. It just lubricates the thread Yeah. And turn it out again. See how much easier that is from just getting some oil in there. These three hold on your mag housing to the engine block. The other three if you stator plate, as well as your mag housing. You have a gasket here. It's got a little knockout on there. Or, like I say, I'm going to do step by step so that anyone can follow this, and anyone can put an engine together with a few tools. That's my whole remit with this. So drop that one. Let's get some more nuts because I can't be bothered to look on the floor for it. I'll get that one and clean it up. I think that's a 7, yeah it is. That's a 6. Yeah. And again, I'm going to spray some oil on there before we start. That's it. It's only 3-in-1 penetrating oil, or DP60 as that one's called. They're all much of a muchness. Same thing, do the same job. Right. And again, you're tightening the outside nut to the inside nut, so that when you turn the inside nut, hopefully it comes loose. Can't believe how loose that one is compared, if it is that, and it's not the it is, it's all turning. Hey ho. As I say, I'll put Loctite in these when I tighten them down. Some people don't. No, it's not necessary is what I'm trying to say. It's just, if anywhere's going to leak, it's going to be there. So let's get this off. I hate working with gloves on, but when you're working with heat, you've got no choice. That's it. Fiddly, but it does work out. I'll just take a rag before I go any further there. I'll just give that a wipe. And again, as I said before, I'll be running a tap in all these holes, making sure they're all nice and clean. Right, so we're on the back now, so if I go and just use my little brush again and give them a brush up. I'll put that back in there or I won't find it again. As I say, we're out to get these studs out because they're all going to be replaced. And again, we want that tightened onto the inside one, like so. We need to turn you over there, don't we? Yeah. Right, so tighten the outside to the inner. That already feels loose. Yeah, that one there's no problems. And as what normally happens with these as well, it's these are bent. Not the first time I've seen that. Sometimes the holes in the washers etc that hold it on, the bracket that holds on and holds the bearing, they sometimes out of a line, and it's not the first time I've seen these bent. As I say, we'll be replacing them anyway, so not worried in the slightest. That's one out. Get these gloves off for a minute. And again, we'll just do this one next. Almost loose enough to turn with your hand, that one. And again, see what I mean, it's concentric, it's moving around. There we go. So much quicker without any gloves on to work. The trouble is you end up with no skin etc on your knuckles where you keep catching them. So I'm more than happy at the moment. Stick that one on there. Only two more to do here. Then I want these posts out. A, they don't look in that good nick, and as I say, for the price of them, not worth messing about. I was sort of easy whether to build a 200 or a 150, 125, and this was the first engine that turned up at a reasonable price, so no good spending 500 quid to start with. If you know, if you don't need the engine yourself, it's pointless. And if a bit like me, I don't trust anybody when they're building stuff for me. It's your arse that's going to be stuck in the middle of nowhere. And if you know what's gone into it, that one's been the tightest one so far. Right, let's give it a turn. There we go. Fairly straight as well. Not as eccentric as the other ones. and we've got our last one after this. I'm sorry if it's boring for those that know how to do all this sort of stuff, but as I said before in the previous videos, it's basically that you'll see a lot of builders will just jump, you know, to start where I am at the moment and just jump, and you're thinking, well, how did you get from there to there? You know, what do I do? What do I put here? What goes there? You know, and they just assume, I suppose, because they know it, that everybody else knows it. So only time I jump is if, you know, it's something not related to the video that you're doing. It's pointless. You're putting a gearbox in, you know, you're changing the front sprocket, then do people need to see you changing the front sprocket when you're doing a gearbox? I don't know. You tell me, if anyone's listening to me out there in Clubland. Right, so we'll hold the inner one again. Tighten that, and that one's nice and easy as well. My gut feeling with this engine is somebody started on it and started with the best intentions and have done half the jobs, and then they put old screws and washers in. But we won't succumb to that. Right, so that's them 4 out. What we need now is these, which I think are 14mm, although I've got the adjustables out, so let's use them. Whatever I've done with them. That's what that one will do. Maybe not. That one's done. Just get a spanner in it. 14. I'll do. One. Let's get the other. No, it's not. That is. Then we'll have a completely stripped down engine casing. I'll pick that washer up in a minute, and again give everywhere a wipe around. If you're fitting an MB rear hub bearing, there's a little oil seal that goes in here, and the actual step on the bearing's not as big. Make sure you've got that oil seal, or it'll piss out with leak oil. That's the last thing you want on your shoes, especially if they're white with black laces.